All right, we are live. I'm here. I'm Alex. I'm joined here with my colleague Shannon. We are both covering the open source and third-party enterprise, what do you call it, offering for the semantic kernel. And we just announced, or the team just announced, a roadmap for the rest of the fall, uh, leading up to a big release towards the end of the fall. So we are going to react to this live. This is both our first times watching this, so you will get our unfiltered reactions to what is going to be presented here. Do you want to
Sounds
say
good,
a couple
Alex.
words,
Let's go.
Shannon? Let's do it.
No, this is great. I'm excited to see what made it through all of the filtering process and where John and Evan have landed with the full roadmap for the whole team. So let's see what's in there.
Let's do it. All right, full screen.
Hi, I'm John Maida.
And I'm Evan Shockey.
Together, we're working on
Semantic Kernel.
We can finish each other's words this afternoon, can't we?
We can.
Okay, well, we're going to give a quick Semantic Kernel roadmap update. And just to remind folks, we have 3 pillars of the Semantic Kernel project. They are number 1, open source and hoping to earn your trust. Number 2, being reliable and performant. And number 3, we want to give you the latest AI innovations. Evan, jump into each pillar. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's start off and talk about open source and trustworthy. So there's a few things here that we're really focused on. One is we want to use the OpenAI plugin open standards. So that way you can create your plugins one time, use them in OpenAI, but also use them in Semantic Kernel and use them across the Microsoft platform.
You get both.
You get everything.
Yeah.
One shot, make it once, you can use it everywhere.
Oh, that's such a relief.
It is. And we're also doing some good work in the core kernel and the planner to make sure these things scale and work all the way end to end for you.
People are using the kernel and asking questions about how to make sure it doesn't fall down.
That's right. That's right. And we're going to talk about that from some of the scale coming up next. The other thing we want to do is as you continue to use Semantic Kernel and you look at our apps, you look at our samples that we have, we want those to demonstrate the latest capabilities. And that's some of the work that we're doing as a team to make sure we're constantly putting back into things like Copilot Chat, the latest features, the latest innovations, and the latest way for you to look at that code and really be able to use it in your own code if you need to.
AI safety.
That's right. That's the last big piece here. We need, and we know you need, to be able to have that safety process end to end, especially when you're building your AI apps. So some of the work that we've been doing is we're adding in things like Azure Content Safety hooks directly into the kernel, directly into things like Copilot Chat sample app. So that way you can see how that works and you can just leverage it out of the box.
Flip a switch.
That's right. Just makes it easy.
I'll pause there. Shannon, quick reaction to what was stated there.
I'm excited about the plugins, conforming to the standard, making that work reusable across all platforms. That's going to be super valuable for a lot of our customers. So I think that's a great thing. And I know AI safety is a conversation we get to have a lot, Alex. So I'm excited to see that continuing to progress. I think there's room for tons of more work there, but it's great that we've got those first anchor points in for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. It's important to call it out because, especially for customers in regulated or sensitive industries, they're looking to Microsoft to help with these AI safety area. So if we can have that front and center in Semantic Kernel, that would be great.
Awesome.
All right.
The next pillar that we're really focused on is reliability and making sure everything is very performant. This is incredibly important to us and to you. One of the ways that we're really focused on is Planner. I want to make sure Planner's performance and scale is up to really global scale, that you can know that when you use Planner, it deploys out everywhere and it's seamless.
Why do people love Planner? Just noticed that.
Yeah, people do. People love Planner. It's fully dynamic, right? You can ask any type of question. Planner can pick that up, find the answers, find the steps, and then go orchestrate that and solve that problem for your end user.
That goal-oriented AI.
That's right. That's right. And so some of the things we're working on here, again, around Planner, performance is one piece. We want to make sure planner is very performant for you, we're thinking about things like where you can have what we call a cold storage plan. It's a plan that you can use in your VS Code and create in your VS Code extension, save it, reuse it, make sure it's consistent across the board for all of your users.
You don't use tokens all the time.
That's right. Yeah. And again, the same steps, the same plugins get called in the same order whenever that ask comes in.
Making it more deterministic.
That's right. The other piece is scale. We want to make sure that planner, we want to give you a few options. So we have a number of planners that are out in the market and a few more coming to really make it where you can pick the planner that really meets your needs. And above that, planner can start to dynamically go grab plugins. So you don't have to register your plugins. You don't have to register those in the kernel. You can go and have planner search your favorite vector memory store or other storage mechanism to go find and discover those plugins based on the description, again, based on that OpenAI spec, and then use that. So now you can start to create hundreds, thousands of plugins to use for your solutions.
You can build your own ChatGPT with plugins.
That's right. That's right. The other thing we've been really focused on is a lot of kernel enhancements. That's one of the things we really want to focus on for this fall release. So one is end-to-end telemetry. We want to give you the guidance and the data. So when you deploy live into production, you can track things like what is that goal, that ask that came in from the end user, which plan was created, what steps were generated and created from that plan, and see all of that end to end with things like how many tokens did you use, how long did that take, what errors happened. And then from there, you can start to use some of the Microsoft systems like Azure Monitor to be able to start get alerts if things fail, or to be able to see what's going on at a long period of time with things like averages and mins and maxes. So you can really start to define and refine what's going on with your plugins and your system.
How often do customers ask this telemetry question?
All the time. This is probably the top ask that we have that we're really focused on delivering for our customers.
And we're doing this all in the open. People are bringing us issues. We're processing them as fast as we can.
That's right. And this is where really this entire fall release is based on your feedback. It's things that we see in discussion boards, in Discord, in issues. This is how, as a team, we're doing our work, and we're trying to deliver the biggest value that we can for you.
And am I correct that by being open source, people know that we fall behind in different ways, and they tell us when we're falling behind?
That's right. That's right. And that's the great thing about open source also, John,
Totally.
is if we're falling behind and you need something as a customer, you can go and deliver it. You can create your PR, put it in, we'll approve it. And then not only can you start to use it, but the whole community can start to use
They're
it.
contributors.
That's right. That's right.
All right, I'll pause there. So, Shen, I heard some very interesting things, certainly interesting things from planner side. But as you're talking with third-party customers, I guess what were some of the things that you've heard from them that are, top of mind and interesting?
Yeah, I think the planner is a little bit still of that black magic of what an AI system does. And so anything we can do to make that more transparent and more usable for our customers is going to be huge. I think what I'm really excited about is the telemetry, being able to see if repeated plans are being used, being able to determine is there efficiency gains that I can have by making a deterministic plan that I don't have to call the AI system to generate every time. Because let's face it, in everybody's job, there's a task you have to keep doing. And so every time we can find one of those tasks and load that up in the planner already, the speed is what's going to matter here. Like the fact that a user can grab a plan, it's going to be ready to go, not have to wait for the system to determine it. I think that's going to make a huge difference in what kind of engagement we see.
Yeah. In terms of telemetry or things like that, John and Evan both made it sound like this was a huge ask, and I've heard the same as well. But I guess, are there any specific customer insights you can offer in that dimension?
Every customer is unique, so I don't know. We're going to have to figure out exactly how this gets used and how to. I think there's going to be a fun moment where we've got piles of telemetry that we're feeding back into the AI and having it surmise new insights for us from that data. So I think there's there's just a ton of uses. I don't know which one's going to come up first and who's going to be the big one to move on it.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see for sure. All right.
Some of the other pieces that we're focused on with the kernel are things like streaming. This is a big one that we hear a lot. People want to be able to stream their information that they're getting from their favorite LLM back out to their clients. So we're supporting that for things like the C# kernel, the Python kernel, and others. And then the last piece, which really goes hand in hand with the telemetry, is error handling. We know people want error handling by default. They want to make it very easy, where Semantic Kernel does a lot of that for you. So again, the ask comes in, the kernel does everything it needs to do to make sure your users have a great experience.
And reminder, streaming is a major AI UX pattern to deal with latency. The model takes a while to process. So if you stream out characters, it feels like butter that way.
That's right. That's right. And like we mentioned before, all these enhancements, all the work that we're doing comes directly back into things like Copilot Chat sample app, right? So things like the streaming support, the improved responses, the how do I do follow-up questions from the planner. Sometimes you don't have all the information you need, so you need to go back and forth with the user. All those type of things are getting baked directly back into the Copilot Chat. So you can grab those directly from the repo, start to use it, spin it up, and see how to build the latest and really the best AI-enabled applications.
You can make your plugins and test them in our Copilot Chat.
That's right. And the last pillar we're really focused on is how do we leverage the latest AI innovations from across the board? And it's not just the Microsoft AI innovations, it's really the full community out there. So we've been doing a lot of work to pull in your favorite vector databases based on your feedback. And you've already seen a lot of these start to come in between all the different kernels. We have more work that you'll see very soon for things like Pinecone, Redis, Weaviate, Chroma, Azure Cognitive Search and Services. So those you'll just keep seeing ongoing. And again, there's going to be new ones that come out, now through the summer and into the fall. We'll start to support those. Or if you create one of these, submit a PR and put it in, and that way everyone can use your product.
Thank you for contributing.
One of the other pieces that we know that people have asked for is really around chunking. This is where if you have really large documents, you want to be able to chunk those apart so you can ask questions to them. It's kind of a talking to your docs scenario.
And it's an art and science.
It is. It's not one size fits all for a lot of these problems that we hear from you. So what we're doing is we're creating a side service that sits on the side of the kernels. And that way you can pick your favorite chunking solution, put in your document or your documents. It'll chunk for you, and then you can start to ask it questions. And then
I'll pause there because Shannon, both you and I, even in the most recent office hours, we've heard a ton of use cases around just, I have this giant PDF. I want to be able to process it, summarize it, maybe ask questions against it. I mean, to me, the chunking piece is super important, but even just like data loaders and all the other, what do you call it, infrastructure pieces just to support more chatting with your data type scenarios. I mean, what's your take on this?
This is big. This has been my number one request this week, is to get to a chunking solution. My favorite sample is I've got a 600-page document full of federal regulations. Getting that into AI, being able to have that conversation with that chat, having it be able to create quizzes and skill tests and everything else with users has been a personal objective of mine. And I've heard this from every single customer. I have a PDF that's too big. How do I get it? And we've been playing this game of summarizing and then re-ingesting and just, it's okay, but it's not clean and it's not fast and it isn't. I don't think we've found the best practice yet. So if we've got a side service that is a best practice that we can just give our customers and say, run with this and go, that's going to solve so many problems and just enable so many use cases right out of the gate.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not just the enterprises that have this problem, even just the hobbyist person who is struggling to, interpret, I don't know, the upcoming tax law changes. I don't know.
Right.
they need to be able to handle these large documents. So it's good to see.
Last piece is, we know with all of these innovations, we've heard from you that the VSCode extension that we've put out is one of your favorite parts of Semantic Kernel. It just makes it so easy to get started, to refine your prompts, to do your prompt engineering. So we have a lot of enhancements happening there. A lot of the things we've been talking about, you'll start to see directly inside of the VSCode extension. So you don't have to leave where you spend all of your time in your favorite IDE. You'll be able to do your AI development directly where you're doing your app development.
And that's like 2 clicks away from your VS Code experience to get to Semantic Kernel and doing prompt engineering to make plugins.
That's right.
So that was a lot we covered. Now we're going to cover even more, those of you who are hanging out, because we're going to go over the granular roadmap items. But to go over all of them would take too long and take too much of your time. So Evan, what are your top 3 favorites?
One of my favorites is right there at the top. It's something that we're working on already. We're starting to ship, and that's the kernel telemetry. So that end-to-end telemetry, so you can see exactly what's going on. You can trust that when you go all the way to production, you have all the information you need as a developer to get started, to know what's happening, and then again, to refine and keep refining based on what your users are actually doing in production.
Because this is naturally non-deterministic, how do you up the game? Inspectability.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
What about you, John? What are some of your favorites?
My favorite, of course, is plugins. I love plugins and what they do for anyone who wants to write a little bit of code or a lot of code. But the biggest problem I see out there is, how do I test my plugin? So I love that Semantic Kernel is stepping forward as a way to be able to test your plugins in a local or networked environment. I'm excited about that.
That's exciting.
I'm sure excited about, of course, Planner, maybe, Evan?
I would say behind telemetry planners, the new dynamic planners that we're coming out with, the varieties of planners, that's going to be key.
You've always loved Planner from the beginning.
I do.
You got me on board on that. I was like, I don't know, but you were like, yeah.
It is one of my favorite features. I think this is something that customers in particular are just loving, and seeing that when they build AI solutions, it's not a one-off. It's not just let's do one thing with AI. It's let's do whatever our users need and make it, again, fully dynamic, be able to answer any question. That's where plugins come back in. You just keep making plugins and Planner will pick it up.
It's a lot of items here. And if you have any questions, just ping us on Discord. And this stuff is happening every day. And we're so proud of what we're able to push out there on our devlog, because it isn't all just us.
That's right.
It's people in our community. It was a Weave8 community member who made the PR for the Semantic Kernel community. So that's really cool stuff. And we're trying to produce as much content as possible. When you visit the blog, please like it so we know you're out there.
That's right. And John, during the summer, we have a few in-person opportunities for the community to come find us.
IRL. We're going to be in San Diego in August, and just this month, I'm going to be at the VS Live event here in Redmond. 1,000+ .NET folks. Going to show them how to make plugins that go into our planner. You might be wondering what Persona is, so maybe if you show up at the conference, we'll tell you about that.
That's right.
I'll just pause here because, yeah, I'll be in San Diego for the VS Live version of the conference in SoCal. So John's going to be there here in July, and in August I'll represent our team in San Diego.
Nice.
So if you're there, come by, say hi, and yeah, we could chat about anything AI, SK, whatever you want.
That's awesome, Alex. I might have to come down and join you there.
Let's do it. It'll be a party.
Okay, so I'm sure you're wondering, based upon, you can tell our excitement for Semantic Kernel is palpable, and you want to know how to contribute, how to get involved. How do both get involved?
Well, there's a few different ways. If you want to be on the sideline, you can definitely do that, because now we're doing all of our planning wide open. It's all in GitHub. So if you go to our GitHub repo and you go to projects, you can literally see what everybody's working on across the team. Who's working on what's in progress, what's about to get picked up. So you'll see all of that, and it's all live. We do all of our daily scrums, everything right there in GitHub in the public. So that's one way of just, if you want to just look and see, that's a great way to get involved.
And while you're there, please star the repo.
That's right. And the next way is contribute, right? You can contribute, which is so great because it's open, and it's open for Microsoft Semantic Kernel. So you can go to the repo, right? Star it, submit a PR. Go, if you see something you want, go and submit a PR. We'll look through it, we'll prove it for you, and then not only you get the value of it, but everyone in the community. And then really the last way to get involved, and probably some of the best, is our Discord community. You can join Discord community directly from either our blog site, from our GitHub repo, and join the other thousands of people that are in Discord trying to make amazing AI solutions on Semantic Kernel.
And coming from the art world, we know that critics matter. So the fact that we're working in the open generates different criticism around the project, and we're listening. Does it hurt? It hurts. It hurts, but we learn from it. So if you're curious about how to get involved with an AI project at this scale, we'd love to have you as a contributor. And you can soon join the world of Evan's love for planners and my love for plugins, and you'll find out about personas very soon.
That's right. We can't wait to see what you contribute to the project and to the product. Especially, again, our fall release is packed full of your feedback. So keep it going. Keep letting us know in Discord, in the issues log, and the discussions within GitHub, what we can do better and what you want to see.
I think it works, Evan.
I think it's great. I can't wait to share what we do next.
See ya.
Bye.
One orchestration mechanism that we will use to help build our apps, that is called Semantic Kernel, which we've open sourced.
All right. Last second thoughts, Shannon.
Well, what's your favorite feature, Alex, that you saw there?
I mean, I'm definitely more biased towards the AI side. So I would for sure choose planners. I think it's super exciting, especially, the current buzzword of the day is agents, and planners are often associated with agents. So yeah, I'd be super excited to see what additional work comes out of that, especially going into the fall.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to stick with that telemetry. Without data, you're blind to what your users are doing, what your app is doing, and I'm going to go one level up from that. It's not just telemetry, but telemetry is just one piece in the inspectability puzzle. It makes me crazy that so many people treat AI as this magic black box that you don't know what it's doing, and the truth is, if you design a test rig, if you design the right scenarios, if you design the right data to put in and get back, you can start to test that non-deterministic output, and you can start to think in a non-deterministic way and build non-deterministically, and it becomes super powerful. So I want to see us really emphasize that inspectability plan, and that's where the extension comes back in, because I love how Mark and team have been working super hard on building the start apps and the experience so that you can tear it all apart, put all those nuts and bolts on the table and look at them and understand how they work together to get back to your app. And the extension's so cool. I mean, I'm spending the summer teaching my 11-year-old son how to use the extension and write for Semantic Kernel. So it's super accessible, which is awesome. That's not a thing AI has done well as an industry so far. So I'm excited to see us doing that.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully your son can make a contribution one day.
We're gonna learn how to make a PR and a commit, and we're gonna get something in this summer. So
that'd be awesome. Cool. Well, with that, I guess we have a lot of ammunition that we can bring to customer conversations, open source conversations. So if you want to join us, find us on GitHub, on Discord, message us, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever you want to find us, and yeah, we'll continue to grow this community together. So
yeah,
with that.
Awesome. Sorry, Alex, didn't mean to cut you off there. I was just going to say,
no.
And I'm going to disagree with John. I don't think the feedback stings. I don't think it hurts. I think it's my favorite thing. Like, I love when the customers give us that sort of feedback. So yeah, find us anywhere you can. And Alex and I are definitely listening and taking it back to the rest of the team.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you, Shannon.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.